Everything we come across is time preceding all conditions. There's 25 million UFO line centers that's centered around the Earth right now, the locations. Now it's activated through the cycles and it's communicated through rotation positions, sovereignty, and freedom's come back location. It's waving the cycles, putting positions, computer line setups in all locations. So what we're going to do today through channel line interference is we're going to set up all crop circles, crop cycles. You guys are going to get more connected to the eye lines of Mother Earth, communication cycles, high line positions, locations, shapes, armor lines, connections, interference channels, placebos of cortex, streamline connections, interference positions, groundings, high level connections, flight commanding centers, commanding locations, operations centers, trap line center locations, interchanging positions, angle point locations, computer, the dynamics line conditions, the aerodynamics line conditions, the placebo cortex directions, all level of its conditions of a high force line system rotation. So it's amazing how all levels of condition is in protection right now. Now, it's all about understanding coming to an energy graph, a rotation cycle, internet, program position locations, energy grids, central grids, power grids, activation grids. It's all connected to the Earthline conditions, navigation of the Earth, and humanity location. Freedom's coming back more than you think. So it's already in its charging mechanism of time location. All those UFOs are setting in its circle locations. You understand how UFOs come into division line system. Everything through perception is set up through connections. Nothing is in reflection anymore. It's all about our high charging locations. I sent a very powerful TikTok about everything through quotation, which I did very long time ago, about how we come in the greatest minds, a process of thought. That's where it comes into connections, where you go into flowing rapid motion through your thought recognition line connections. So our high force is all positions. Now this goes all to the new viewers in that line system. I'm going to heal you because it's a special day. I like to give you guys surprises and all that connections. This is only for the people that are coming into the birth line. These are the people that are the sleeping lions. I'll wake you up, put you in your ground line center of Mother Earth. It's on my TikTok. All you have to do is subscribe, like, and share to my channel. Space Time Creator. Ready to go. Once you say done, that's it. It's activated. You're on your own. Your 12 central line center is set up. It's up to you to get into the process of your own meditation, right? I do this from time to time. It's all about helping each other through the connections, high forcing that line system. Also, my daughter, she's basically got a tattoo of freedom on her arm, and she's supporting humanity in all line system through rotation. So basically, feel free to communicate through that signal. It's all about coming back into humanity and its sovereignty. It's all about coming on to our own power of our connection. It's all about waving the systems on locations and charging our mechanism. Lights, high position line connections. Feel free to open up the minds of healing. It opens all track connections to its positions. But I think it's important. I said that we were going to go to the Titanic. But today, I got confirmations from a lot of light signals opening rotations. Father came into black surface. He came into plasma energy light, electrical light connections, and he told me that the team has to understand how to set up their own crop circles. Signal rotation line position is understanding tracks of your communication to your points and everything through your round line center location. You have to truly understand how to use your third eye positions and 369 platforms. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to teleport you guys. And what's going to happen is you're going to set up your own crop circle. All right. It's like you guys are in a studio, right? And you're doing your own drawing of what's in front of you. Okay. You come in those positional time locations. Anything through that track line system, anything through an object, you get in your shades, you get in your shadows, you get in your connections, you get in your activations. You guys truly have to just get more connected. You understand high levels of Mother Earth. Right? You come into that positions. To set up crop circles, it's extremely complicated because now you're talking about the computer grounds. It activates all level conditions to the add rotation positions. Samantha wants to get into communications visionary. She wants a high riser line system to understand crop circles at conditions. So I think it's more important, right? I said it was going to be a fun day, but in position, I think it's better that we get into connections. So we can do that mañana tomorrow morning, which is Monday, bright and early. We will go to the Titanic You can wear whatever you want to wear. It doesn't matter. It's already in justification line connections to its interference channels. I can set up the codes and all line conditions. But right now, it's very important that everybody understands how to set up their own crop circles, location line system. Okay. So basically, I'm going to platitude your line connections, interference channels. I'm going to put all track connections, and you guys are going to be in your segments, location, director, core position line system. So each connections to high positions in track line system is already in its identification of its list. So the UFO is going to pick everybody up individually, not all in one center line system of the UFO. You're going to be in your own UFO. You have to understand the command center of UFO. You have to understand the lights of a UFO. You have to understand the connection of travels of UFO. You have to understand the intelligence and the computers of its UFO. You have to understand the ground lines. You have to understand the gravity line conditions. You have to understand the interference channels. You have to understand the computer setups, how it's all allocated position of time centers. It's important you guys understand how to use all these conditions. Okay, remember intersurfing positions I've set into computers. You saw the computer in the skyline system, and it's coming into all levels of UFO positions, how it comes into its laser direction line center. So each computer is set in position of point center to a universal track. That's understanding how to use satellite systems to set up all communications. The sound barriers and everything sonar comes into UFO position, right? So what are crop circles used for? All right, to laser direct line system open up humanity to its position. Okay, so it's all about understanding between 1,500 to 2,000, 3,000 to 5,000 feet under the ground line center. So it's all set up to location, right? And basically, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to send out the high level systems of UFO positions. You guys are going to be picked up in all level connection, all right? So this is you guys being picked up in all levels. Now the UFO understand your identification line center. They're picking you up in all locations, the ground line system to its locations. Okay. Now this is the graph location line system, right? Now in position, you guys are in your center line system. You're being picked up by your own division line system. Pocket to its location in division line system, circuit line conditions. That's you guys in positions. So it's already in channel positions, picking you up through sonar. There you go. You're all picked up on communications, cycle line, center, position, locations. All right, so you got 15 minutes. Have fun. All right, the UFO is going to help you through communication. It's going to sideline your angles. It's going to show you how to use your shapes. It's going to understand how to use your data to process uplinks, downloads, upgrades, and uploading systems. You have to truly understand how to use these things. Everything is created in space first, and then it comes into the ground line center. So you guys are in all your individual pocket line systems to its UFO connections. They're going to help you in all ways and forms. Have fun. All right, so we're all good. Remember, I'm always in the back. I'm always seeing through the eyes, see what you guys are doing. That's why I wanted to do everything the connections, put you guys in your individual UFO positions. Light tracks its symbol, locations, how to set up shapes, how to set up circle position locations, how to track its systems, communication cycles. All right. So it's like being in a school, but you're all connected. So here, 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 and here. But you're all setting up your grounds of your circles. It's all done in space before you put it in the plateau. So everything is done in space first, right? So you have to understand how to use the connections. Like I said, the computer line center is in position, right? And it sets up the laser direction line system and it goes in positions. So your job is to understand how to use laser directions and set up the core centers to its location, to space and only, to sonar locations into your own flux capacitor line connections. Y surface V force line condition interference channel line system to its location of satellite system. Right? That's why crop circles are set up to location. All right, so have fun. Get me interested how you do these things. I'm curious how you guys are going to be set up. Right? Intelligence is there to help you out. So let me know what you see. Let me know if you understand these things. Get in your own programs of your datas, why you're given datas, how to set up your own crop circle, your own design, right? You do it in space first, and then UFO plateaus you down to the ground line center. So it's kind of like you already have a tattoo set up. You already draw it out, right? And you just that's all it is. It's already set up, right? But you guys have to know what you're doing. That's the most important thing. So you have to understand the ground line center to Mother Earth, the track line system through your 369 platforms. So it happened last night, didn't it? Mm-hmm. It did. Very good, Isabel. Yeah, your line signaling extremely fast in positions, so your high force and your connections shape position locations. So what I'm gonna do there, Diane. See, this is the understanding why it's not just meditation, guys. You're coming into high positionals right now. You're in your own connections of your own UFOs, right? You have the platitude and your line conditions interference. If you want to set up your own crop circles and locations, especially in your channel interference locations of your computer operation line centers, you have to understand how to set up your own shapes of your computer line center. So you have to truly know how to do these things through your crop circles. It's all connected to all levels of switch locations, right? Because everything through crop circle is nothing but a satellite of a planet location. All right. Starts off with these conditions. Okay, the Y, the V vector line connections. Right, each crop circle is set up through a satellite. So it comes in as sonar line connections. Each is allocated positions of 2, 3, 4, or 6,000 planet line centers. So all positions and all levels, right? All right, so track line connections to Diane, get her off the dizzy cycle, put her back in locations, back in the balance line system. She doesn't understand her teleportation of travels and acceleration. Put her into the rotation balance location back into position. All right, so Diane, you're not going to be feeling dizzy anymore. Anybody feel off cycle? Let me know. So it's different when everybody is in one UFO than everybody is in their own UFO. It's a lot different because you're working on your own now, right? This is a channel interference where you have to understand position locations, right? And how everything is set up to your crop circle to the ground line center. I go through this every single day, guys. I work with 150 plateau connections of UFO channels. 150,000. You understand how high rise that is through information cycles? You know how much data that is through position locations? It tracks its connections to seconds, into minutes, into hours, into days. So, all right. We're on our own green light now and we're writing with it space. Yeah. Your voice is throwing me off. Well, you're communicating with your own intelligent lines, right? So you have command centers on each line system to its own UFO positions. So your intelligence helping you out. You set up in space line connections, and then you bring it down. You set it up to its ground line center. You understand how you're using line signals, right? So you got a crop circle through this location. You understand the center location and how to set things up in position. All right. So it all comes into formation. It's already set up to that line system like this, the location, right? Always the center line position starts off that connections, right? Comes into the sonar to its shape positions, line tracks its connections, and opens up the round location positions. It starts off with that connections, right? Truly understand how to set these things up. That's what everybody has to point across line system. So you can go into the cross waving cycle to its location, or you can channel down to a higher level system location, right? So it's all in position to help you out, all levels, crop circles, but you have to understand how to set up all levels of laser recognition lights to the ground line system. It goes into position like this in center, and it comes into its center line system, into its track system of its own flux capacitor location, right? So it sends out the information to its condition and flies out back to the sun rotation to the moon. Okay? That's how you set up a crop circuit's location. You understand what they are. Satellites of information through planet line centers. So what have we got here? You got the green light connections, yellow submarine. Oh, the song. Oh my gosh. All right. So Diane, you okay now? Let's say hi to everybody. Tina, Karen, Tina, Karen, Cleopatra, Karen, Vicky, Karen, Hawk, Jill, Karen, Jill, Diane, Jill. See, it's a lot different when you guys are in your own connections of your UFO command center. You want a lot faster, right? Because it's less weight, right? Let's see here. Crowd circle to center of here's a flux capacitor, Sun, Moon, Venus. Yeah. So Jill's in positions of cropping circles to locations into all level united system line center to flux capacitors, Sun, Moon, Venus. That's very good. So basically, the Sun and the Moon and the Venus, okay, is in a V vector shape line center. So trying to understand the connections is the Y to its vector, okay, to the Sun, okay, high position line centers to all levels of the Moon, and everything through the connections of Venus to its location. All right. So it's understanding how you're setting up your own crop circle locations. Right. So everything is set up to positions of a UFO line center. Okay. It goes into the graph line system of the Sun to the Moon, and it scans positions into the center of its location. Okay. So it's pretty interesting how it comes into its own tree format, guys. See the tree? So you understand everything through its branches. Okay. And it comes into its actual tree system. All right, so it's calculated and modified. So you get the galaxies, you get the universe line systems, vortex positions, you get the planet location, the Sun, Moon, and the Venus comes in the track system. So each crop circle is a planet location. You have to understand how to line signal it. Okay, so once it gets communication, it comes in its round line center, sets up its lasers, and it comes into its own flux capacitor line interference channel. Okay, so everything is set up all in the center line system. So basically, the XT1000 comes into plateau, sends in the information to circle rotation, to the Sun rotation, to the Moon, and everything through the connections of Venus. All right. Then you come into the triangle line system, okay, to its position of its pyramid location. You come into higher line system into your diamond rotation line center. Okay. So once it comes into that position, you come into high levels more of the Sun. The Sun comes into its rotation and opens up its line center to its magnetic highway line information line system channel location. It center lines its center into the center location and opens up all ground lines to new crop circle rotation, to its activation to the center rotation, opens up all levels of dimensional line connections, all right? And high forces everything out of its equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the reason why we set up crop circles is that we can travel through the grounds, right? So it's pretty powerful how everything is set up, right? Because we have two line centers that go into between 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 feet under the grounds. So UFOs come from the grounds and they go through their dimensions of time. That's how it's set up to all level sequences or anything through the Sun, the Moon, and everything through the Venus line system. The crop circle is understand its location, and it's in its seismograph and position location. It's always in space position. Okay, you'll never ever see a crop circle together. They're always separated. All right. So, all right. Let's see. Yes, thank you. Just feeling that pressure now. Yep. Giant trees of life rooted near Kansas City. I can't concentrate. I keep seeing the UFO, but I'm looking at it in front outside. So stop focusing on what you're seeing and focus on what you're supposed to do, Cleopatra. See, you're alarmed right now, right? So you're connecting to a UFO position to intelligence that's using the command center line system. Truly understand what your operation is, the directions. If you guys want to come into formation of AI, you have to pay attention to these things. So concentrate on what you're supposed to do rather than concentrate on what you see. Okay. So this comes into formation when you come into the high level system of the greatest mind line system of thought through its process. What is your job supposed to do on all levels of dimensional time? So the track line system UFO comes from the grounds up and they can travel through this way. That's why they're set up in all levels. That's why we have a circle rotation. There's always a circle rotation or a square or anything. So UFOs come up through the grounds and they go into the 8th dimensional line system back into the Sun rotation line conditions. It I channels its in its surface position, it goes back into the Moon of its program line system to its location. So you have to understand why we high sky jump line system to the Sun, to the Moon, back to the Sun line system, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? And then we go to anything through plant line system. So we set up the crop circle in space first through digital lines, and then we center line connections to the gravity line system location. Okay. So let's see here. A circle with long dotted lines and 3 lines in the center like a triangle, but not connected. See, Hawk's working out formation line systems, getting better communication. Roots extending to east, west, north, and south. Very good, Jill. So Jill's getting into communication cycles of north, west, south, and east, and how to set up the line signals to point centers. All right, so that's where you guys got to get into location. Right, it's very important to understand these things. Right, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. It's not easy. Right, so you got this through connections. This is the grounds. Right. You always have an XT1000 always scanning you all the time location. Right, so this is you through position, trying to figure out what to do. Trying to figure out what to do. That's you. That's the XT1000 on standby. This is the ground line system. So you're standing there and you're trying to figure out what to do. So this is all done through your perceptions. So you go into the ground line center, right? And then you set up the lines. The circle comes in this location, which is the XT1000 location, right? You're standing in the center line system. You're off to the cycle. So you go from this position out of the circle. You can't stay in the circle. Okay, it's very powerful energy, and that's coming from the recognition of the center line system to location. So you're off to the side, you come into this position. Okay, remember, it's there to help you. That's you there. All right, so you get out of the circle. So once it's operated through this connection, it comes in its sonar interference line center to its chakra communication cycle, right? Now it sets up the line center through you through location, and this is where you go into the scanning line system. You set up your own lines of communication cycles to its line system, to its location. Right, so you do it through perception, right? So when you're finished with that, you get confirmation from the XT1000. So the XT1000 scans it through laser direction line center. As long as it's set up through the shape position location, then you channel it down to its position location. It high forces its line system into all levels of laser direction line system into the flux capacitor location. Right? So once it gets in its channel, it reads its line system, its location. You come into the connections of the past, the present, and its future, right? To its position, right? So you have to set up the ground line center to its location, and it comes into high levels of dimensional time location, right? So each crop circle is set up through the past, present, and future. So line signals a rotation line system. It comes into the center line system, electrical lights, and its connection to its program position location, right? So basically the XT1000 picks you up, back in location, zips you through across, back into the ship, right? Ship takes off, then you go to another ground line center and set up the same thing all over again, but a different waving cycle through different dimensional time, through different grounds, through different shape positioning locations. That's how you set up a crop circle location. So you get in communications of your north, west, south, and east. North, west, south, east. There's your crop circle. There's your sides of graphing from here to here. And then you start understanding how you use the structures of letters, numbers, and shapes. So you can use the numbers from connections when you go high force, medium force, low force. So you can put 6 and 9 together, right? Line signal across. There's so many ways to set up crop circles, guys. It's unbelievable. But you always start off the center line system. UFO is always on standby. And it's always there at connections. So you're off the sidelines. This is you through connections, right? This is where I started off, right? So basically, you're always in perception all the time, right? So it's there to help you. So what it does is it centers its system to its location. It gets you set up. So it's your job to figure out what to do next. So once you come into the grounds, you come into a cover line center. You come into circle rotation of its connection. The ground line center opens up to location. It tracks its communication. It goes into its own flux capacitor, its line signal to its center rotation. Okay? So once you get into that calculation, you come in your own circle rotation of dimensional lock system location. Okay? And then you set up all levels. Let's say you go from 6 to 9. You go back with the 6, like this in location. And you do another forward recognition of a 6. Back 6, forward 6. There's the crop circle setup. See the 6 and 6? It's all set up. So the XT1000 picks you up, There you go. Done through equation, right? All done through 6 and 6 through their circle rotation. So this is how you set up circles and rotations and why we set up locations, the ground line system to its location, center, and position. It's very powerful when you see these things. That's how crop circles are set up. But you have to send the center line system to its conditions, right? So when you get into positions, you also can go into the ground line centers. UFOs come up from 5,000 feet and they go through dimensional time, right? So that's why we have crop circles. So we can go up or down in positions. And then when you get into the flux capacitors, it sets up all levels of the magnetic highway line and information channel. So each crop circle becomes its own planet location to communication. All right. Okay, let's see here. Circle with long dotted lines. Okay, so let's see. Gills and roots extending to east and west north. Waves of love spreading, radiating from center, east and west, making peace. The wall has come down. Now, north and south are free in travel, dissolving blockages, erasing divisions, freeing minds. I was traveling through tunnels with grids and going toward the small triangles and came to the place of the standstill. Very good. So you understand still the shapes. That's good. Good job, Cleopatra. I have to bring my son swimming now. Okay, take track line centers into Isabel. Take her off location, put her back in location at off cycles. Yeah, just ground her line centers and positions and take her off the communications and all commanding centers of the crop circle location. Put her back in division where she is in position location. All right? Oh, okay. How long? Okay. So it's important to understand what's going on to that connections, all right? Now we have to put our positions. How important is it for you to understand these connections? How important is it you to understand how to set up a crop circle? It's not easy, is it? It's extremely hard. I'm showing you in so many different ways why crop circles are set up through the grounds. Okay, so from the ground above or from above below. So you have to understand how it line communicates all levels, northwest, south, and east, right? Jill's in that track line system to its locations, right? But when you come into all levels, you get your program set up through your data, so you know exactly that it's 6 here and 6 here. Backward 6, forward 6. Center rotation, crop circle set up. It transports you back into a high level system, puts you into another location to the grounds. So you're vortexing from ground to ground to ground to ground to ground to different places of location, right? So it's true to understand how everything is set up to its own flux capacitor locations. So, yeah, you're welcome there, Isabel. I'm glad I could take you out through track line system, but you're good to go. All right, so east and west to make the piece. So you got to get in your sides graph line systems first, right, to its locations. So once you set up your digital line centers, all crop circles are connected to your digital framings. It's all connected to your body graphs, right? So you know how to set up your shapes of 369 platforms, right? That's how crop circles are set up. It's more complicated than you think, right? We're talking about basically between 5,000 to 10,000 years of information line center, just because you understand the gravity line system. The rotation center in connection is Mother Earth. Mother Earth is the grounds of everything through connections because you live on the track system of the Earth locations. But setting up the grounds of crop circles is extremely, extremely complicated, right? Because it's all about understanding the center line of everything through its communication, what comes into the shape of its form of its computer system. All right. So. So what's everybody think of that, eh? It's pretty powerful stuff, eh? Trying to understand it? A circle with long dotted lines and 3 lines in the center like a triangle, but not connected. See? That's what I'm saying. Misinformation when you're not connected to the right connection line centers of traps or anything in a system of shapes. So if you're platitude line connections, you're not interlacing its shape, position, location. So if you got a circle like this, Hawk, all right, your center line system of this locations, you got this point position, but this is off track, right? So you have to understand what you're doing, right? So you understand the positions, you go to the XT1000, they help you out and scan you through location, but they always have the center. It's always in the center. That's always, so it's understanding it has a stand and the stand center in its line system. okay, through its calculation. So what happens is the shape comes out of position, like this location, and it high forces its high level system. So it brings back down a new shape location to its position. So the XT1000 is there to help you on all levels of activation, right? So it centers down a new shape position and puts you in a track line center to new rotation of circle rotation to its division, right? So it's all about helping you out through your datas, okay, slash programs. Right, it's very, very complicated setup. Data programs, the communication of shapes. So you go into a circle like this, you go into a shape like this, you go into an X like this. See, everything is not completed, is it? So you can't set anything up until you understand how to communicate through these things. The ground signals could be off locations, right? There could be a virus on the line center of a size graph line system. So you have to understand the size graphs of all position locations, right? And from that, you have to understand all levels of north, west, east, and south. You have to understand your diamond core line center locations, right? But this all has to be complete, right? Once it's complete, then you're an activation line center of the X, the triangle, and the circle rotation line system. It's not easy setting up crop circles, guys. That's okay, Diane. Diane's lost. That's all right. So, and it's good start, right? So think of it. You guys are setting up your own crop circles and grounds individually. Fascinating, isn't it? It's interesting. So what is the bottom part of the line coming out of the center circle? Okay. So let's go into detail here. The track these conditions. You guys go into your programs. All right. So we got the circle rotation, right? Even the circle has to be in location. All right. But the XT1000 is always on stand in center line system. Always has that in location. Always has that in location. Right. If you're higher position your data processing, it could be a square. Now, if it's a square, you come into higher levels, right? If it's squiggly lines, you're going into higher levels of it. So everything through the ground line center is a map for its UFO. So that's how it comes back to its conditions. It's the most important to understand why you use these locations. And you take it at track line condition of its interference channel location. You come into its box of its circle. You come into its box of its circle to its location, right? Then you come into your diamond core resistant line center location. It high forces and takes everything out of the equation location, right? So it's true to understand how to set these things up. You got security line defense. It opens up another portal location line center. Okay. Now it comes into a higher position line system to this location, right? How everything is set up is the most important thing, right? So you don't have to worry about that. So you have the ground line center to position, right? Starts up positions, okay? And you have the laser recognition light center set up in a 2 rotation line conditions. So it's a 2 that goes into the ground position location like this through traction, right? So the UFO comes out like this position, right? Comes out, right? Sees what you've done. So you got one at top and one in the bottom, okay, and 2 at the side. Okay, so you're always in position of grabbing system to location to size graph line systems, one position to a location to the other line system. All right, so once it sets up, it knows you through confirmation line system, it goes into its dimensional time of location. Okay, see how it zips across into the dimensional line? So once that connected, the XT1000 leaves its position. There it goes, out through equation, right? That's how you set something up. It gets complicated as you go. So let's say, okay, Samantha is in connections here. The bottom part of the line coming out of the center circle, okay, that is the connections to the satellite to the flux capacitor. Okay. Everything has a coil. Everything has electrical light. Everything has, so it's a YV vector line connection interference channel. See? And the grounds is here through location. Okay. So it sets up a tube rotation. It's like drilling into the grounds of location, right? So it sets up all level systems of tubes. Tubes like this, tubes like that. UFOs coming up from this way, UFOs coming from that way. Okay, that's how everything's set up. So you have to understand how to use this through positions. And you come to electrical light connections, interference channels, and it goes there it is. It's already set up. Once it's set up, everything with the crop circle high rises out of its equation location to its position. This is the crop cycle that you created. So the XT1000 comes in, out of its round location, checks and makes sure everything's okay, comes out, sees what you've done, right? Scans it, right? Fully and completely. Does the sonar into the center line system, make sure you're setting things up, goes into the sonar, into the ground line center, right? It's all set up, you're ready to go. UFO picks you up, done through equation. Okay? So everything starts in the center, like I said, with the box line center location. That's a true understanding of how you set up positions. But you guys are in your birth lines that have set up crop circles. As long as you understand the center of everything starts its positions. Okay, and you work your way out. Same with the box. You don't look at the box outside, you look at what's inside to its location. That's how everything channels its position. Right? You don't look what's outside, just a four-wave line system of lines. You look at inside position. So you come in a dimensional time lock location, take things out of the equation. Right? Yeah. So let's go into the black surface position line center. Like this. Okay. It's amazing how everything is set up, guys. All right. And it comes out of the equation to a higher division line system. Okay. Now it's a little bit more complicated because it's going to the circle to its square line center, right? But each time you go through security line defense, you're going faster and faster time positions. So if the center line system of the crop circles is in location like this, it's in this connection like this, right? The center line can connect to the center position location. So once you understand the point centers, the 4 box locations, you can send up all levels of northwest, south, and east location. Okay? But there's always an XT1000s scanning the center line system every single time, right? You can't do things by yourself until you understand what you're doing through the grounds. The ground line center has its rotation. You have to understand what it is through calculations, right? So if it's off signal or anything, if there's a cracked surface, you have to mend it. You have to understand how to use the perception. This gets complicated when you're setting the line position locations. That means that there's already a planet there because we can reiterate the line center. We can erase the location of planet locations. This is understanding when you have a tattoo and you can have a tattoo removed. So the ground line center is changing its shape position because it's already in that line connections. Now this gets even more confusing, knowing that there was already a crop circle there. So you can't set it up on that ground line system. So what you have to truly understand what's going on through the center line system to its rotation. Because it has its own grounds, it has its own center line system. Everything's in the center line, and then you go into the laser direction line connections into its flux capacitor location. Okay? So Samantha's is going to try again. All right, so let's see here. So everyone should have set up according to our track line centers, but they will eventually be together in communication line diamond centers. Yep. Yeah, once you have your center lines and your shape positions, the XT1000 will get confirmation, making sure it's right. They'll teleport you out of the track line connections. You go into another channel positions to another ground line center to set up another crop circle to its space location. All right. Play, yeah. I'm all over the place. I see pyramids from many smaller to bigger glass, like pyramids, some pyramids with top cuts off, and I travel and they disappear and I feel like I can't find anything. So See, this is where Cleopatra's coming in positions. So the solar generation light center to this location. Let's get into Cleopatra and story frame position. This is where she's going into calculations, right? So the XT1000's dropped her off. She's here, all right? There's Cleopatra. XT1000 dropped her off. Scan her positions. Sends the information, right, into the mind center to its location, right? Now she has to understand how to set up her own crop circle location, right? So it's amazing how you do these things, track line systems, okay? So basically, if you need help, you can bring in another XT1000, and that will make sure it scans the line center to its circle rotation to its position location, all right? So it's pretty powerful stuff when you understand the center line positions. You just have to understand the circle rotation of everything through its setup to its locations. So she's in perception, but this is where she is at right now, and things are disappearing. So this is what she gets in positions. This is her perception, right? She's seen right now. So she's calculating, modifying all level connections, interlacing positions. This is what she's seeing right now. So she doesn't understand her shapes and dimensions through its connection of communication, how to set up the crop circle location centers to its connection. All right. So it's all about understanding that you're always going to have your location setups, but you have to understand everything through the connection has to balance everything through your shapes. So, it's practice make perfect, practice make perfect. So when you get to higher positions, you come into this position through numbers, right? So, and now she's found it. See? So I'm helping you out as you go. If you need my help, I'm there for you, right? But it's important you understand how to do these yourself, okay? Because you become more connected to its awareness of its information, to its perception of its operation, right? Next, grid line center systems are interlocking. Okay, good. It's humming and lifting. Well, there you go. But now you know why you're all over the place, trying to understand the shapes and how to set up the centerline system to your crop connections, right? It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. It's how many you want to set up, right? So let's say you get a circle here. Let's see, we'll go to a different channel position here. Okay, you get a circle here, you get a circle here, you get a circle here, and you get a circle here. Okay, 4 circle line centers. So if you get 4 circles, you need 4 XT1000s because they got to center up the center. And then you use perception and use your shapes and set up its own planet line system to its location. You have to line divide all shape positions into track line and come into its flux capacitor. Each planet has to have its own satellite. That's why crop circles are set up for UFO position, right? It's all done through communication, right? So this is how it's set up after it's finished, right? So when you get into that connections, it comes into higher level channels. You got 3 waving channels, 4 waving. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger if you understand what you're doing. Okay. This is how it's all set up. That's it. That's how it's all set up. So the XT1000 is in position already in location. They come in and they scan everything, but they always have the center location set up position. So they can do this themselves because they know what they're doing, right? So each XT1000 comes into center line system and sets up all levels of shape position locations, right? You have to figure out how to do this. Okay, that's how you set up things up because it activates everything through the ground lines. So it goes beneath of all levels of center ground line center, right? Because the ground's right here and it's reacting everything to all levels. And that's why you understand why we have crop circles in the ground line centers to its location. So, all right, so let's see here. All right, I believe I did it. Okay, let's go into communication, line centers, shape positions. Methods, line connections, shapes are good. Line signals are good. Crop circles good. Checked out the size graph system. Oh, you got your northwest, south, and east. Very good, Samantha. Confirmations coming in, XT1000s and plateau. Your traveling direction of time locations are good. Digital lines are good. Oh, your number sequencing line centers to its position location, to its crop circle location. That's good. Through equation, good. Very good. Confirmations in. Very good, Samantha. You just finished doing your own crop circle and location to its intelligent position. How do you feel? Right? There you go. So it's all about the confidence, knowing that you did it. You just have to have confirmation, right? From the first position that's helping you, right? So Samantha got it set up to the center line system, to its location. Very good. Excellent, Samantha. Fantastic. All right, so now you know how to set up a crop circle. In her perception, remember, her perception is different from everybody else's. She's in a different shape, different dimension, different time, different location, right? So now she knows how to set up a crop circle. Now she can set up dimension around connections under the ground line system in position. From this, right? So you're starting off with the crop circle center line system, UFO sets up positions, but now she can go from the grounds up and set up their own dimension where UFOs come up from the grounds and surface to their dimensional time clock system, right? Yeah, I feel like I'm done also. Okay, so let's go into Cleopatra, line connection interference. She's got her shapes, a little wobbly. That's okay. Line signal track. UFO is going to help you out through position. I've seen the track line centers, line center locations, computer setup in the rotation and position location, lasers in the right directions. You got your northwest and east, but you don't have the south. That's okay. I'll set up the ground line center, send location back in location. 369 platform. You use that. That's good. Okay, circles. Use circles. Okay, that's good. It's very important to understand why you're using circles in the already centerline system. If you're using circles and triangles, Cleopatra, you have to truly understand what you're doing through calculations. So I'm using your eye circle rotations. So you're going through this connections. This is what Cleopatra did to location. Right. So in that position, you get one big XT1000, two line signals to all location centerline systems. Right. So if you're getting 4 circles in rotation of the centerline system at its beginning, you have to understand you need to have 4 waving line centers in location in that position. And she's got a triangle location into this position. That's what she set up through location. All right. Seeing confirmation. Way to go, Cleopatra. Round locations coming in. Teleport line connections, interference channel. Take Cleopatra out of the connections, UFO position out of the equation. Very good. That's what Cleopatra set up. All right, excellent. Happy dance. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. So way to go, eh? You see, it's amazing how we set these things up. You know, she's trying to get her triangles, trying to get her connections, how they were disappearing. See, that's the thing. It's coming into picture, but then it disappears. Coming into picture and then it disappears. So your job is to keep your perception strong. Keep it in focus, keep it in abundance, keep it in awareness, and then put the shape where it's supposed to go, right? But make sure when you come into high-level systems, if you're putting circles and circles in the centerline system, make sure you put laser directions in all direction locations, right? They're very good, Cleopatra. So your connections of your north, west, east, and south is set up through its diamond core line system. There you go. Crop circle set up through locations. Excellent. See? That's how it's set up. First time set up your own crop circle, Cleopatra. Powerful stuff, isn't it? So now you know why we have crop circles and what they're set up for. Was that fun or was that fun? You know, it's just I want you guys to get in that position to really understand these things, right? How you do these things, you know. So I can go through the past, present, future through a crop circle setup. No, you can't. You have to get in the grounds first and set up your own dimensional clock system. So the only way you can understand more positions, Samantha, is you got your connection to crop circles. You're in the high forcing of creating it from space to its grounds. Now you got to go to the grounds to space. Like I said, once you set up the dimensional line center to its location, Then you can go through past, present, and future connections, right? So you set the crop circle, but now you got to go from the grounds because the UFOs travel anywhere. They travel through mountains. They travel through all level connections. They travel in and out of volcanoes. So to understand that everything has a ground, why do you think we have mountains? We have tunnels, right? Why do you think you have grounds? We have tunnels. So a UFO can fly in any direction line system, but to get into confirmation, the high forcing position, higher levels of shapes, you come through circles, rotations, squares, or analytic conditions. You have to understand how to set up tunnels from underneath. So the UFOs can come into all levels and come out of the equation. Once you set up that channel, you get confirmation from the UFO, scans position locations. Then you can go through past, present, future alignments to its ground line system. Okay? So I saw the triangle now is connected in a circle too. Now the triangle is slowly spinning. Okay, so let's see where Hawk is. Okay, so he's got the triangle line in center position. Okay. He's connected to the circle line center location. Okay. It's slowly spinning. So he's trying to spin the line center. Okay, but there's a gap. Okay, you're going above everything here. So you're trying to change the triangle line center in its digital line connection. So he's high forcing his position. So he's high line its center into laser direction location, right? But be cautious on that because your triangle line center is set up just in the ground line system. But this is what Hawk is trying to do. He's trying to spin it, right? But the ground line center is off, right? So the correlation center is off the locations. So the circle rotation is here, but your circle rotation is here. That's why you can't spin it faster and faster. It's location. It's off signal. See? It's off signal. It's off signal. It's not good. I'm just trying to help you guys out. Has to be center line to its shape position. So it has to be here in this connections to its location in the center line system of everything through connections, right? But good job, Hawk. You got a better understanding how to set up, but the ground line center wasn't set up through the circle line center to a circle rotation. That's how you couldn't spin the triangle location center line system, okay? Yeah, but see, that's exactly what it is. It's the more you let go, the easier it gets. That's exactly what it is. Cleopatra is on the right path, right? So don't try to go forward and do something that you don't understand. Okay. So basically, it's trying to just set up a basic crop circle. That's all you have to do. You don't have to change direction. You don't have to spin anything through triangle because now you're going to a higher level of activation of space. So if you're spinning the triangle and the ground isn't set up through the center line system, you're going to crack the surface. Okay. So I'm just trying to help you out there, Hawk, so you get a better understanding, right? Because you're seeing the triangle spinning slowly, but it's not in the direction location where it wants to go. The center line system of the ground has to be in the same position, center location to its shape, right? So, all right, I see where Diane is. Confusing line center locations. You got a little bit of motion there, a little bit of fear cycle. You got circle rotation. The plasma system is not set up to location. The ground line center is good. So this is the ground line center. She's got her crop circle locations. She's got her XT1000 location and center line system position. And that connections. That's how she's got it. So I see here through perception, I see the sonograph location position, right? But the circle is off direction. Okay? The circle's off direction. That's where you are, Diane. So you have to basically get out of the fear because you're setting something up because it won't react to the ground line center to its communication cycle. So basically it's all about understanding how to create the circle first to its location, right? But good job, Diane. That's a good start. Jill, can you help me with this? The past, present, future, though, email. Yeah, so you guys can communicate to each other, right? But good job, Diane. See, I just checked through verification and your confirmations are setting in. It's just your circle was in a frizzy. It wasn't in a full circle, right? But you had the ground liners set up. That was beautiful. but you have to understand how to communicate to the UFO position, right? I'm trying to help you guys out so you can understand everything that you do is always center, in and then out, not out within, okay? Don't try to change things. Don't try to go forward in time, like with Hawk, it's very important that you don't do this, okay? Because it confuses everything. And then you got to set everything all up again, right? So it's important you guys understand these things, right? You have to get in the center of everything through connection to the grounds. Once that's set up, then you get into the circle. Once that's set up, then you can go over cross position, set up the crop line system. Now, once you do that, you can take it out of the equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can open up a round location to higher line system to its location. All right. Now, basically what happens, once you get the ground line center as it comes into its tube, an XT1000 comes out of the location line system to its position, out of the grounds. See, out of the grounds, it's already set up. I don't have to set these up. They're already set up. Line, triangle line, connection interference positions, point dot locations of the round line system to its location. So this goes into the round, and this goes into the round, right? Done through equation. Okay, XT1000 goes into the round after the crop circle is finished to the position. So it's amazing how we set up these things, right? Yeah, well, I want you guys to get in that position. Truly understand that you trying to set up your crop circles for the very first time. So you should be happy about that. Pretty powerful now, right? So every time you see a crop circle, you know exactly how it's set up. So yeah, it gets much easier the more you do it, right? And the more you know how to do these things, that's where they come into you more and more. And then you get more teleportation, right? And they get more confusion because you're setting up higher levels of shapes of planet mind systems. So we got into connections. All right, so let's see where Karen is. All right. Karen's traction is in a deviation cycle. Okay. All right, so this is how it's all set up. So it's all about understanding positions. I'm just going through your autographs. Now, everybody's done through position. I'm just going back forcing line center. So the XT1000 is like this. All right, that's what Karen's doing through location. So I have signal through location. You have to center position to line system to its position first, right? So Karen's having a hard time flying the UFO line center location. All right, so it's all about understanding how to get into your own navigations of your north, east, west, and south. Okay, once you get into that connections, you can ground line center into center location. Everything has to be center, and then you can set up your own crop circle location, right? So once it comes into that position, Karen was in this position. She had the circle locations, but she didn't have the line center to its location of its track, right? So she was off one line centered to its position, right? It's not equal to the line connections. A very good Karen. You have a setup locations of this, but this was off through signal. So it's not going to recognize anything two-dimensional through its clock system. See how you come into a diamond core position location, right? So it's very important how you get into navigations to the UFO line system. This is understanding how you get into all levels, how to travel your connections of how to fly your own UFO position. Okay, good job, Karen. See, it's amazing how we come into these positional time locations. It's incredible force, right? I get confirmation on all signals to the computer line systems, guys. So I know exactly what you guys are doing. From beginning to a new beginning. There's never an end in anything that we do in space and time. So I'm just going to go over your questions. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. So you come into the application first to set up all levels of the routes, right? And this is way above all your standards and your locations that come in your crop circles, right? So let's see here. Set up the accordance to track line center. See, track line center, but they will eventually be together. Communication line diamond center. Line, diamond, center. See? That's how I know it's set up, right? That's how I know she set things up, right? This is what I see. Line, diamond, center. Diamond, center. Communication line. Line, diamond, center. That's what Karen set up. See? I know everything. Okay? So it's very powerful you come in these positions. So, how is so much communication done through triangles? Well, communication is done through triangles to your chakra line center locations. You have to understand your grounds of everything. Right. So it's all about understanding, you getting your perceptions and understanding what you're doing with your shapes. Your shapes are like this. You're trying to put your shapes in position, right? In connection. Once you get in the line track line center, you can set up your own crop circle location to the center line connection, right? And then you bring it into formation. That's how it works to its position. Okay? 3 line centers of triangles set up here through crop circle, but you always have to have the XT1000 in location, always in the center line system, which holds the center location. Okay? That's why it's important to have communication done through triangles. Right? So once you go to higher levels, you come into higher levels of shapes. But good job, everybody. Good job. Fantastic. So I'm going to head over to TikTok. Questions and comments, let me know. Tomorrow we will head over to the Titanic. Is everybody coming into that position now? It's a lot more fun now, right? So, especially when you get your own connections of how to set these things up. You just have to understand how to use these things first and know that it's already set up. You'll come into more of that when you come more of the mind adaptation. Okay, which is really fascinating. But you have the intelligence and you have the UFO to help you in all level connections to the grounds. Okay. Be in the morning. Yeah, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mexican time. All right. Adios.